What is up, YouTube? My name is Trinity and welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've been here before. So I am happy to announce that we now have 31 subscribers in our community, and I want to say thank you to the 5 people that have subscribed to us so far. Thank you for joining this community. It makes me so happy to know that people actually enjoy what I'm doing and inspires me to make even more content. So today we are going to be talking about a few myths, legends, cryptids that live in the water. Why in the water specifically? Well, not a lot scares me, but the one thing that does scare me is the idea of deep water. I was watching a couple videos on things that were discovered in the deep ocean, and it just gave me the creeps, and that's what inspired this video. I'm not scared of what's in the water, and I'm not scared of water itself. I love swimming, I love being near oceans and rivers and seeing all the sights, and I love exploring, but I would never be able to go swimming out in the open ocean, or at least somewhere I can't see the bottom. I don't think I have thalassophobia, which is an intense fear of large bodies of water, but I have something adjacent, I guess, just because it's not a phobia where, like, the idea of it sends me into a panic, but it's pretty intense where I will refuse. If I can't see the bottom, unless it's like a pool or something, but even in a pool, it would make me kind of uncomfortable. If I can't see the bottom of this body of water, I'm not going in it. And I'm not sure what it is, because I'm not really scared of some weird, creepy creature in there either, because I'd be stoked to see a shark or something, okay? I don't want to get eaten by a shark, but I know if I'm the one getting attacked by the shark, I'm the one that fucked up, so I wouldn't blame the shark. I hope it doesn't happen, but if it does, I messed up. I think maybe it's the thought of just so much space. Most of it is just empty space right beneath you. And that's weird. That's a weird fear, I know. But that's the only way I can describe it. I don't care if there's a huge shark beneath me. I mean, it creeps me out, but that's not the issue that I have. It's just all of that empty space beneath me. I don't know, something about knowing there's so much distance between me and the bottom freaks me out, and I can't do it. So the first creature we're going to talk about is going to give me a headache, because I already know what people are initially going to think. We are going to be talking about the black demon shark, also known as El Demonio Negro. Obviously, as you can tell from the Spanish name, it originates in Mexico. So this shark is said to live off of Baja California Peninsula and is seen most often by fishermen, obviously out fishing the waters there. It resembles a great white, except it is much darker in color. While great whites are more of a gray, this is just black. I'm not sure if they're reported with counter shading, meaning like black on top and then white on the bottom, or completely black, but that is how it's described. And it's also said to be between 20 and 60 feet long and between 50,000 and 100,000 pounds. How they estimate how much it weighs at that size, I have no clue. Before anyone says it, no, it's not a megalodon. There is so much bullshit that always is going around the internet, especially since that mockumentary from Animal Planet that, oh my god, megalodon is real. Every weird sighting of a shark or shark-like creature is a megalodon. It's not a megalodon. I don't want to go into all of that because that's a whole different video and other people have covered it extensively, but basically it could be summed up in 3 different points. Megalodon lived in warm, shallow waters, so basically anywhere we go on vacation, so we'd be seeing them all the fucking time if they were still here. 2, the reason megalodon went extinct, or at least part of the reason, is they were outcompeted by smaller, faster sharks. And number 3, all of these pictures of megalodon teeth that look brand new, like they're fresh out of the teething baby shark, are encased in a substance, I forget the name, but it makes it look like it's brand new when it's really thousands of years old, and it makes dating it a little finicky. If I can find the video that I watched debunking every claim there is, I'll leave it in the description down below, along with a shout out to the creator that made it, but just letting you know. It's not megalodon. An explanation for this is a great white with melanism, which is basically the opposite of albinism, or an animal being an albino, so it has an excess of melanin in it, which can make it all black, While I don't think there are any reported cases of finding a shark with melanism, there have been sharks with albinism, so it could have happened. Or, what I find even more interesting, but less plausible, is maybe a new species. Again, since it's in areas that are often inhabited by people, I don't see how something that big could have just been around and not seen by everyone. Of course, because it's in the water, it makes it a little more possible than if it was on land. I don't know why people want to jump to, oh, it's an ancient creature that died out millions or thousands or whatever years ago. When, what if it's just a new species we don't know about? I find that infinitely more interesting than just, oh yeah, it's another Lazarus taxon. It's coelacanth all over again, even though coelacanth was in the deep ocean where we couldn't get to for the longest time. Apologies for my rant. As you can tell, people not looking at all evidence and just saying, yes, it's that, kind of pisses me off. I'll move on. Speaking of Animal Planet, this next monster was actually covered on River Monsters, which was actually a fucking amazing show. Very informative, actually, and it tried to debunk a lot of the shit that other shows accentuated. We are going to be talking about the Japanese legend of the Kappa, or the River Child, as it translates to. This story is likely one of those legends that was created to keep children away from water. There's one in basically every culture around the world, whether it be Kelpies or La Llorona. It's just a scary story to keep kids away from the water, because whether it's 100 years ago or today, kids that can't swim going near the water is very dangerous. So why not make up something out of this world scary to keep them away? So the Kappa is described as a small child-sized being with green, yellow, or blue scaly skin, the head and face kind of like an ape, and weird green hair coming down off of its head. It is also said to have a cavity on the top of its head to hold water, for the purpose of if it decides to walk out of the water, it needs to keep the water in the cavity on its head, or else it will cease to be able to move. A cute little fact I found about this is a method to avoiding a Kappa attack is to bow to them, and then they have to bow back to you, and that spills all of the water out of their cavity. So it incapacitates them so you can get away. So I found that very cute for some reason. It's just like, he just forgot that he needs this to be able to function, because he has to be so polite to you. Some stories about the Kappa are more lighthearted and mischievous, where they just play pranks on people and they loudly pass gas around everyone, and they like to look up the kimonos of women. While others are not so lighthearted and cute and funny, they're kind of terrifying. They'll attack people and animals and they'll drown them in the river. They will kidnap children. One method of attack that I read about, which is very odd but must be part of further mythology, is that to kill a person, a Kappa may pull out the intestines through the anus of their victim to access a mythical organ that humans possess, called the Shirikodama. Please let me know if you know I'm saying that wrong, just tell me in the comments. That apparently possesses the human soul. Now, what these could have been based off of are either the giant Japanese salamander, which can be up to 8 feet long in very extreme specimens, which is the route they went on River Monsters when Jeremy Wade pulled out a fucking gigantic one out of the water. So I can definitely see that being the inspiration. Or it could have been an early interpretation of a misidentified sea turtle, because it is also said the Kappa really likes cucumbers. There are apparently turtles around that area that do enjoy consuming cucumbers. So that could be it also. If you look at the art, it does kind of look like an amalgamation between a person and a sea turtle, and maybe some salamander traits, so do with that what you will, but I think that's probably where it came from. Right before I move on to our final 3 creatures, I would like to remind you guys, if you're not subscribed, please click that subscribe button and hit the bell icon. I would really appreciate it. Let's grow this community even bigger, and I will keep making content for you guys as often as I can. Now, this is probably one of the most famous cryptids, legends, whatever you want to call it, of all time. the Kraken. I never knew what the Kraken was supposed to be, either a squid or an octopus. There are paintings and murals and stuff of them that can depict either. But essentially the Kraken is a giant octopus or squid that has reportedly taken down ships, and it just lives at the bottom of the sea. The legend originated around Greenland and Norway, and they could have actually been early sightings of giant or colossal squids that can be up to 100 feet long, so obviously a little over-exaggerated based on some of the art that I've seen, but obviously, you know, people are out at sea and they see something weird and they're dehydrated and sick, or they just want to tell an awesome tale to the people when they get home. I can understand how 100 feet could have gotten to the size of taking down a whole ship. A fun fact that I learned, I'm pretty sure it was from a TikTok, is that most stories of sea serpents and krakens and giant squids and the like were likely based off of sailors seeing whales. Now I know what you're thinking. Whales don't really look like squids or serpents or anything. They were talking about a male whale's genitalia. I'm not going to go any further into that. I'll put a picture to demonstrate. Let's move on. This next one I actually learned about in middle school. We had to do a whole day researching it. This creature I am talking about is the Pacific Northwest tree octopus. I know what you're thinking. Stay with me. It is apparently an endangered species of cephalopod that lives in the Olympic National Forest and is endangered due to human activities such as logging and construction and trapping, because they are trapped by hunters and made into ornamental decorations, and they are also hunted by Sasquatch. So essentially they use the rivers along their territory to spawn, and then as they grow they use their 8 arms to swing from branch to branch, eventually becoming completely arboreal except when they come down to mate again, and they use their arms to catch their prey such as frogs and insects. If you haven't caught on by now that this is not a real creature, I am concerned for you. But yes, this was a hoax created in 1998 and is often used in internet literacy classes to determine what is a credible site and what is not. I remember personally doing this as a little kid, and I was so confused when my teacher asked us to look this up because I'd never heard of the tree octopus, and I was so confused, and I was like, am I dumb? Have I really missed something? Are there tree octopus? And then at the end she told us that it wasn't real, and I felt better about myself. The final creature we are going to talk about today is the Hook Island sea monster. Apparently this was a 90-foot black tadpole-shaped monster off the coast of Hook Island. It had a wide gaping mouth and 2 small eyes on the top of its head, and it reportedly had an injured tail. This creature was reported by a man named Robert Laseric and his family in 1964 when they saw the creature, I believe, from a boat, and I will read the report from the Wikipedia page right here for you now. It was only when we got within 20 feet of the serpent that we could see its head clearly. The head was huge, about 4 feet from top to bottom, with jaws about 4 feet wide. The lower jaw was flat like that of a sandfish. The skin was smooth but rather dull, brownish black in color. The eyes seemed pale green, almost white. This looked more like that of a shark than an eel. There were no apparent scales, nor did we see any parasites around. We supposed the flexible tail could have shaken any off. There were no fins or spines, nor were there any apparent breathing openings, although there must have been some. Perhaps we didn't see them because our attention was focused mainly on the creature's menacing mouth, the inside of which was whitish. The teeth appeared small. A fragment of some dark substance hung from the upper row of teeth, possibly a fish. As the monster was lying on the sandy bottom, we could not see the color of its belly. The creature was about 90 feet long behind the head. The body was about 2 to 4 inches thick and remained that way for about 25 feet. Then it gradually tapered into a whip-like tail. The general color of the body was black with 1 foot wide brownish rings every 5 feet, the first starting just behind the head. The skin was smooth but dull. Now, there is evidence on both sides for this either being real or fake. I'm not sure where I land in this. I'm probably landing more on the side of it being a hoax, just because I think these people were on vacation, so if this is a vacation spot, this thing was just chilling out in shallow water, as you can see in the pictures. I feel like somebody would have seen it before. Some think it was a large sheet of plastic that was put down on the bottom and weighed down with sand, which some people say they can see in the picture because they can't really see the outline clearly of the animal, which I don't know if that's good evidence, just because it's hard with pictures in water, just because it's moving, it breaks up the shape of the object. So I'm not sure if I'd call it a hoax based on that. But what I find to be kind of weird is, with most animals that live in the water, they have a very streamlined body, so they can move fairly quickly in water. Not a lot of animals have like just some big protrusion, like a huge head and then a slim tail like a tadpole. Like, tadpoles themselves, like, they are shaped that way, but it isn't as pronounced, so they're able to still swim through the water. Though people that have looked at the picture, and apparently the people there, said the eyes were too lifelike to be made of plastic. I feel like in the one picture where there's a boat in the background for scale, it's a little convenient. I feel like if somebody saw a shape that big, whether they knew what it was or not, they'd probably get the hell out of there instead of just sitting there in a little canoe. But at the same time, maybe that was a member of the family. I'd have to do more digging to know. But I feel like it's a little convenient, but it's still also plausible someone was just there and looking at it like that. The other part of the animal that gives me pause is just having the eyes on the top of the head. Usually for some sort of aquatic creature like a stingray means they're gonna burrow under the sand. But then if they're burrowing under the sand, wouldn't it be more flat? They said the head was like that. With crocodiles and alligators, they have the eyes on the top of their head so they can stick them above water, so when prey comes by, they can jump up and grab them, basically. They have to be mostly under, but their eyes have to be sticking out. But obviously, if it was that kind of creature where it was ambushing stuff when it stepped into the water, I feel like people would have definitely known about it in that case. I'm pretty sure this is either a hoax or a misidentification or some other explainable phenomenon that I'm just not thinking of right now. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed all these cryptids. Go in the comments, tell me what you think, leave your own stories of when you've seen a cryptid or a sea monster or something, or tell me what you thought of these, or leave suggestions for ones that you want me to talk about in my next video. I have so much fun researching these and talking about them. I have pages and pages of stuff filled up, just waiting to talk about in a video. And it makes me so happy to know that people are actually watching and like my content. So be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.